Judeo-Christian religions, they call it guilt, pride and shame. These are what you call social control mechanisms. Why? Because you want a person to be in a society responsible adult who manages themselves, who does not become a burden to the society. And if the society has to evolve, we have to control people in such a way that they are productive community members. How do you do that? Guilt trip them. You're supposed to do that 5 times, you haven't done that. Or, I had set up 3 meetings for you. You never showed up for any of those meetings. When will you recognize that when you promise to somebody, I know we are not your bosses, I know we are not paying you, but when we set up a time for you, it is only for your own good. Why are you not recognizing that it is good for you to do this? You have always been like that. You did that to your mother, you did that to your brother, you are doing it to us. Now, guilt trip for next 2 generations are properly set. And then comes the same thing, like a pride. You should be proud of what you have accomplished. You should be proud of where you are born. You should be proud of what you have done. The pride is good up to a point. But somewhere, because you are taking it as, I did it, I made it, that also stops giving credit to anything else and everybody else. That pride, if you are not careful, it becomes pride of my own accomplishment, but nobody else helped me to get there. In that process, you lose relationships. And of course, shame. Look at how you dealt with your sister and brother. Look at how you treat your children. Look at what you do. Create shame. Shame them into acceptance. Shame them into action. Shame them into behavior you want them to behave. This is something which we do quite a bit. So I call this just like a global positioning system will tell you exactly where you are on the map. Guilt, pride and shame, the internal GPS system will also get you where exactly the society wants you to be. In some religions, it is more dominant than others. In Hindu religion, we talk about it as Narakam and Swargam. I remember seeing a big chart while I was growing up. If you do this, you will go to Narakam. If you do this, you will have a hot oil bath, or you will become the pakoda in certain things, or you will go through this. So there are all these various, what are all the Naraka punishment if you do certain things. That is also pride, guilt, pride, shame kind of treatment. On the other hand, of course, this is not only in Hindu religion, but also in Judeo-Christian religions. Control mechanisms, this is what you call. Now, you can reframe them. As a matter of fact, the freedom comes when you look at it and say, no, I am not going to operate out of guilt, I am going to operate out of gratitude. So that is languaging it. So you take the G word, which brings so much of energy shift for you in a negative direction, say, no, instead of G for guilt, what does G mean for you? For some people it might be gratitude. For some people it might be grateful. For some people it might be God. For some people it might be something else with G. You have to find what your language allows you to be. If you can think about like what word comes to your mind in a positive note instead of guilt. So if you can find it and if you can name it, and every time you feel that, you say, no, I'm not going to do it out of guilt, I'm going to do it because I'm grateful to you. I'm out of gratitude to what God has given me, I'm going to do this. So I'm making a choice not to do it out of guilt, I'm going to do it. Suddenly, the freedom that you get becomes enormous. Similarly, instead of pride, I'm doing it because I'm being purposeful. I'm being passionate. I'm feeling powerful in doing it. Pick words. By the way, for some of you, you may do it, pick it in Telugu. You may pick it in Sanskrit. You may pick it in Hindi. You may pick it in Jewish languages, Hebrew. pick whatever is the way in which you operate from, pick that, and then that will give you freedom. Same thing, shame. Instead of doing it because you are ashamed of doing it, you are doing it out of service. Service instead of shame, or something else you come up with. Now, wherever you have relationships where you feel guilt, pride, shame, you reframe those with the words that are appropriate, and then do the actions with other person. Slowly and steadily you will gain freedom. You will gain freedom in the relationship. Other person might not even know what is going on with you, but suddenly you will have a lot more freedom around them, and you will have your productivity, your enlivening, and your alignment become a lot more meaningful and effective. So those are some things which we do.